That's not it. I'm your boogeyman, boogeyman. Turn me on. No, that's not it. I'm your boogeyman.
I'm your boogeyman. That's what I am.
I'm here to do whatever I can. The early morning, the afternoon. I feel like I forgot how to drum. Please you. Welcome back to another. Jakey's Pod, everybody. You know, it's Monday and I'm recording in the car. This is another car episode. I'm late, I forgot my one weekly obligation. Today's episode, I'm off my hater mode. I'm off hating. I'm no longer hating. Today's episode, it's technically a meditations, but today's episode I think is gonna be called Jakey Wrote a Movie. Because I did. And that's kind of what I want to talk about more than anything else. But, you know, so today's episode, Jakey Wrote a Movie. But right now, it's a car episode. I'm driving to work on Monday the 3rd because I planned things poorly and I forgot. So I might throw this up, you know, in a very unedited state, unless I say any bad words, you know, in the course of this half hour, which you never know. Oh, gotta turn that down. Yeah, today is it's Monday. I'm recording in the car. Well, really, this episode is called Jakey Wrote a Movie, but you know, sometimes I have deep topics to discuss. Sometimes I want to skate the comedy community. Sometimes I want to talk about war in the Middle East. You know, I recorded a whole episode about the war in the Middle East that I never really, I kind of want to re-record it so I sound smarter, because I was like working my ideas out. That's the thing, is when you're working your ideas out in real time, if you were to record that, I sounded like a fucking dumb idiot. But I'm entitled to my dumb idiot opinion. I've been thinking I should maybe stop smoking weed so much. I think it might be making me stupid. No, okay, but I'm being serious now. I did write a movie. Jakey wrote a movie this week. You know why? I've been working a lot, man, and I've been talking about it, and I fucking hate working. I hate working. I shouldn't do it. I say this all the time. I've been saying this for years. I really shouldn't be doing it. Because you know what? I realize this too. I work with people who like working. And also, I do like working to some extent. However, when I'm at work, I am thinking about making other stuff. I've never been able to not. Anytime I'm at work, I'm like, I should be working on something else. I don't know if everybody has that feeling. But man, I was working, so I've just been working too much, dude. Been working too much. And I was working some it was an indie pop Indian show. An indie pop Indian. Indian indie. It was like India, like the country, that style of music, but like also indie pop. So it kind of sounded like just your generic sort of white guy pop singer. Indian. And it was boring. And I was working, and my brain was exploding. My brain was just being flooded with ideas. And I had this idea to write a movie script that I have had in my head for a really long time. Jakey's had a movie in his head for a long time. I pieced together one of the final pieces of it when I was at work. And I was like, well, if I'm just gonna sit here on my phone, because sometimes jobs, like if they have nothing for you to do, they're like, just sit there on your phone. This week was the week of sitting on my phone at work, dude. Which I would rather not do that. Some people like that shit. They're like, well, I just got paid to sit on my phone. I'm like, no, my time is more valuable than that. I'm a creative. So, do you know what I did? I wrote a movie that day. I worked out, that was Wednesday. I worked from like 5 to like 10. I got out of work at like 10:30. I bought a 5-hour energy. I think I took a little mushroom chocolate too, and I smoked a bunch of joints. And I purchased the script writing app Celtics on my phone, which I didn't know was for the phone. And when I was at work, I kind of typed out the plot of this story, and I typed out the scenes as they came through my head, just visualizing them. I did myself like a little loose Save the Cat beat sheet, which I have locked in because I'm a studious boy. Oh, you don't even know what that is, do you? No, I'm just kidding. Did a little Save the Cat, and then I typed for 5 hours into my phone. And I wrote, in my head it was supposed to be like a half hour to a 45-minute short film. And it came out to about, around 30 pages. I'm not the best, most professional scriptwriter, so there might be some extra time, some extra fluff in there. But from my understanding, one script page is supposed to be like roughly 1 minute of screen time. But also, if I'm having scene directions in my head as I'm writing, I'm just writing all that shit in. I'm writer-director, baby. So I wrote a fucking movie this week. That was my one W. I also made several L's. It was not the best week ever, but totally forgot to do a podcast this week. I'm not even going to have time to release this today. I'll have to release this tomorrow. I recorded another hater episode. I recorded an episode called You Can't Skip the Line in Comedy. And I ranted about that for about 10 haterful minutes. And meditations on why you can't skip the line in comedy. What is there to really be said? All right, that sentence really suffices. And I don't think it deserves its own meditation. You can pitch about stuff all you want, but this episode, I could talk about I wanted to talk about the fact that I wrote a movie this week. That's the other funny detail is the final piece of the puzzle was that I had to write it for two of my best friends. I had to write it for Sean O'Shaughnessy and Kyle Regan. I've had this movie idea in my head for like years now because it's based on a true story. You know that shit? I wrote a movie based on a true story. It was about a crime that happened in Philadelphia, where a bunch of guys got caught doing a crime. And I've just had that movie in my head, a funny movie. And then I was like, the main characters are Kyle Regan and Sean O'Shaughnessy. And then, that's right, you can have the plot in mind, but then now all the dialogue snapped into focus because I know how those two guys talk. And I wrote this, and I think it had what a good script has, which is, because I can tell you, if I was going to do my little elevator pitch to you right now, what is this movie? It's blank times blank. This movie is The Town times Pineapple Express. So it's a heist, a crime heist that's like pretty much 80% kind of absurd comedy, right? So the tone is absurd, but the vehicle is this sort of crime heist movie. But if I were to tell you my inspirations for this movie directly, it's just all my favorite shit. It's just all my favorite shit because it's simple. It's more than just that. I'm sampling, and that's what what I think when I look at stuff, what the best stuff does is it's just forever sampling the other best stuff. Nothing good creative is ever made in a vacuum. And I really poured so many of my favorite influences into this movie. Now, are they obvious? Yes. Is one of the scenes a direct homage to a scene in Boogie Nights? Yes. But I guess that's what it is. It's an homage. Everybody suck my dick right now. You. So I wrote this fucking movie. I think it's hilarious. And I watch movies all the time. So this, what I could rant about today. I don't really have any comedy shit to rant about today. Besides me sucking at it. Although I did write a really good joke this week. I've been obsessed with clean comedy. I don't know if you're a friend of mine, that might be stupid, but I wrote a really funny clean joke. And I hope people think it's funny too. I was gonna go do it at Fergie's last night, but I lacked the gumption. I worked so much on Saturday. That shit sucked. Not only did I work so much, I'm I was microdosing mushrooms at work for like a week. And because I bought these like light mushrooms, and it just gave you, just taking a little bit, just gave you this really clear, positive high at work, which I like because, like I said, work makes me want to kill myself. So, and you can only just get so absurdly stoned on weed before every single shift. So, and then I went back and I bought the mushrooms again, but I bought a different like flavor. And these shits fucking wrecked me, dog. Oh my God! Those I love, like, usually it's like I walk to work and then I get like kind of like a little positive rush while I'm smoking my joint, and then I write a bunch of silly jokes about limes, or, you know, I wrote a joke about cookie cakes and cookie pies. Isn't that funny? Isn't that cute? But no, this one made me, I took some mushrooms on the walk to work, the same amount that I've taken previously, but by like a new brand. Halfway into my walk, I am having a reckoning with myself, dude. That shit sucked. And I was like, dude, you have got to get the fuck together before you get into work. And my work is just like hard manual labor in the heat. I'm just schlepping fucking sweet tasty juices in the heat. And I'm like, you might be a bad guy. I'm like, no! Really introspective stuff. And I still had more mushrooms, and I didn't want them to go bad in my pocket, so I kept munching them over the course of the shift. And I was just tripping fucking balls at work, dude. That was a nightmarish mistake. But, you know what's funny? I got out of work, and man, I was in some fluorescent lights for a little while. That was not fun. I got to see Logie and Georgie at Helium, and, you know, I was just out of my fucking mind. I was looking at Mike Young's face in the dirty fluorescent light, and he was Sargon of Akkad. He was, have you ever seen a picture of Sargon of Akkad? That was Mike Young. And he goes, how do you know? I told him that. And he goes, wow, you guessed my lineage. And I'm like, it's not guessed, dude. I see it. I can see it in you. But I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And I called my girlfriend. She picked me up. We fought in the car ride home, but that's only because I was making her drive on the same bad mushrooms that I was on. And you know what's funny? When you have good mushrooms in your fridge, every time you open your fridge, you look at them and you're like, hey, you. Hey, you. Remember that? Remember that time we had 2 days ago? That was fun, right? That was fun. That was good. I'll see you soon. And when you have scary mushrooms in your fridge, it's just, you just open your fridge and you just kind of see it out of the corner of your eye, and it's like looking at you, and I'm like, stop. Get away. Don't stop looking at me. And then I'm like, no. And I close the fridge. Then you close the fridge. Like gothic music is playing, like, ho. I don't know what I was talking about, but, you know. I told Logie, because I wrote the movie, really, the movie I wrote has 4 characters. It says Sean O'Shaughnessy, Kyle Regan. I wrote a character for Logan Mallon, and then I wrote a character for myself, which I didn't, to be fair, that was a placeholder character that I put myself in. Oh man, somebody got into a car accident right there. That's funny. And I was like, I didn't write a character for George, but I could, you know how in the Boogie Nights there's that scene where there's a Chinese guy just lighting off firecrackers in the back of the room? You! Fucking you. Great. I was like, George, you could be like a little Chinese guy in the background. So like, what I kind of wanted to rant about this week was the kind of the movies I watched. So the movie that I wrote is a truck heist. It's a heist movie, and it's a car heist movie or a truck heist movie. And I wrote it with special effects in mind. There's almost no violence or action in the movie. I try to write it with an almost non-existent budget in mind, so I could potentially make it if I want. But Oh, Jakey's about to whip it. Whip it. Oh, never mind. I'm going to miss it. And I was telling somebody about it, and they were like, oh, you got to watch Heat. I watched 2 movies this weekend. Kind of. Oh, I'm gonna poop my pants in a second. I watched Heat, and I also watched the movie Scum, the British classic Scum. And I'll just say this: I did not finish the movie Heat. But that does not. It is not. I have in a 24-hour stretch, I attempted to watch the movie Heat no less than 3 times, and that might sound absurd if you're like, oh, Jake has bad time management problems. Yeah, but all those times were the correct times to try to watch a movie. But also, hey, just because I fall asleep during a movie, that doesn't mean that's a bad movie in Jakey's book, because I love a good action movie. I love it so much that it relaxes me. Relaxes me heavily. My dad is the same way. If he's watching a good movie that he loves, it might just lull him to a beautiful slumber. And I'm not that dissimilar in that sense. So I put on Heat like Friday night in the middle of the night, and fell asleep maybe 20 minutes in. I got to watch that first heist scene and fell asleep soon after that. Pretty cool. And then the next day, tried to watch it again. I was like, okay, let me go to the last scene I remember. Popped it on again. Fell asleep again. Fell asleep again. In the middle of the day. And then at night, after the whole day was said and done, I was like, let's run it back, try to watch Heat again. Fell asleep again. I fell asleep watching Heat 3 times in one day. I gotta go move the cones so I could park next to my boss's Toyota. I got 15 minutes before work, but that's like a lot of times to watch the 1995 Robert De Niro, Al Pacino crime flick Heat in one day. Do you know what I'm talking about? That's a lot of times to watch it. And I have a lot of thoughts on this movie for somebody who has watched 50% of it more than 3 times, or at least more than 2 times. There's a lot. First of all, yeah, like I said, I like it. It's cool. This movie has a lot of flaws too. I mean, flaws. It's just. Hold on, give me 1 sec. See, this is why I have to edit my podcast, because type of shit like this happens. It's not interesting. All right, so these are my thoughts on the movie. These are my thoughts on the movie Heat. This movie is peak. It's like the beginning of old man De Niro, old man Pacino, before they realized it yet, dude. You could smell the beard hair dye in this movie. Like, Al Pacino still has the handsome young guy look, but this is like one of their first. Like these guys are great actors. This is their first like non-acting. This is like a good phone it in, for lack of a better word. It's not that they're not acting; they're just playing themselves, basically. You get that Pacino voice. He does that Pacino voice that he does. The old man. He's just getting that old man Pacino voice, and it just like kind of acts crazy the whole movie, but he doesn't act like cool. He's just like you know how Tommy Lee Jones is very snappy in the movie The Fugitive. Al Pacino is like attempting that, but he's just like, ah! Ah! And same thing goes for De Niro. De Niro's got also the epitome of like, there's like these, like they're just getting young pussy in this movie for no reason. There's just no reason they should be getting young pussy in the movie. And like a character tells Robert De Niro, like, hey, you should go get some pussy. And he was like, oh, okay. And then he like, one night stands a lady at a bar, and then there's just this like Jakey, you know this. Jakey hates a kissing scene in a movie. I hate a kissing scene in a movie, and it just takes me out of it. And both Al Pacino and Robert De Niro's characters in the movie Heat had these like prolonged side piece plot lines about like they're too upset. One guy's too obsessed with crime, one guy's too obsessed with being a cop to give, enough time to their respective hot girlfriends. And I hear women bitching about the characters, like women characters in movies a lot. And when you go back to 1995, it is a little valid. I'm gonna say you have some valid criticisms when, they're like, oh, let's throw some ladies in this movie. And they're like, all right, well, what is she gonna do in the crime heist movie? I don't know. Goes on a date, talks about graphic design. That was like that's also what's funny. This movie came out in 1995, and Robert De Niro's dating this girl. He's like, what do you do? What do you do? And she's like, I do this thing called graphic design. I make like the logos for companies. And he's like, what is that? And I'm like, dog, every bitch in 2024 does graphic design. I know 800 bitches that do graphic design. Like, it's just like underneath every single thing, they also do like graphic design. He's like, what, did you go to college for that? What, did you go to college for graphic design? She's like, yeah, I did actually. Hilarious. But that's a crime truck heist movie. And so I was recommended that movie because of that. But the action was cool. It was cool. I mean, it was fine. It's fine. It's interesting enough. It's like the epitome of it's like it's almost like Fast and Furious. It's like they're too badass for their own good, But that movie's good. And the other movie I watched was, holy shit. Like, that was fun. I watched the movie. Well, and so that one got me because that was a high budget crime heist movie. And after that, I watched the movie Scum. If you know that, then you know that this movie needs almost no introduction. But if you don't know it, I'll give it an introduction. Scum. Well, first of all, one of the best fucking low-budget indie movies maybe ever fucking made. This movie was made in, like, a building. Do you know what I mean? With, like, a group of guys. It was about the Borstal system in England. So basically, they had these, like, fucked up, corrupt boys' homes back in the Dizzy in England. But they're very old-timey, but they lasted up until the 70s or 80s or whatever. And it was just dudes just young boys just being fucking abused by the system. Just ruthless physical and psychological abuse. And that shit is dark. And basically, these British guys, I think his name is Alan Clark, he made a movie, or it was meant to be a TV series, and he made it as graphic as possible, depicting what goes on in these boys' homes, based on true events. Just all stuff that he did in his interviews. He included all these horrors into this movie, in this series, and the TV was like, this is offensive. This is offensive. And they reworked it as a movie. They reshot everything, I think, as a movie, and they released it. And within 5 years, they shut down the Borstal system. The abuses it was too corrupt of a system. It was too evil. But man, you want to talk about a fucking gripping movie, an incredible movie. If you put on the movie Scum, you are just sucked in, man. You are just sucked in. It is gripping, man. You get put in the character's shoes, and it just sucks you in. And they're these non-actors, or not non-actors, but like unknown actors. It's not like there's maybe like super famous people in this movie. Just giving incredible performances. It also shows like, okay, even if you're using like this kind of bland environment, I think it shows that when you're making an indie movie, anything that you could rationalize as a creative decision counts. But it's like they're using a bland environment and they're making it beautiful. You know what I mean? It's funny when you could use like, whereas in the Heat, they're using like expensive cinematography poorly. They're having like a green screen roof dinner scene versus like, okay, you have one building to make a movie. Where do you do it? You got to make every scene count. But like makes the hallway, the break room, that is where shit goes down. The cafeteria, that is where deals are made. The workplace, that is you know what I mean? Like all these environments have so much character. right? It's almost like you knew, which is like, it's so funny. Like you don't know the layout of a room in any other movie you watch, but in this movie, you do in this movie. Don't go over there. I know what happens over there. Don't go in there, you know? Ooh, a bathroom? Fuck that shit, right? So all that is to say, this movie is incredible. This movie is incredible. And it's excellent. It shows, and there's two main characters. I just watched a review of it too, so I have like a little bit of insight. But there's kind of two main characters. One guy represents the physical abuse side, and the other guy represents like the mental abuse side. And the physical abuse, basically, and the moral of the movie is like everybody is told, shut the fuck up, put your head down, and serve your time quietly. Serve your time with your head down. But they tell you that because when you're serving your time with your head down, that's how you get abused, is with your head down. So one guy, Carlton, rebels violently. You know what I mean? He's just a big, beefy, you know, just a big guy. He's not a mean guy. He tries to do it with his head down, and he gets fucking slammed by the system. And he goes, you know what? I'm gonna hurt some motherfuckers. And he hurts himself to the top of the fucking totem pole by being ruthless. But that's how he keeps himself safe. It was fucked up. There's a scene where he fucking hits a guy in the head with some pool balls, and it's just, like, it's not fun action. This isn't a fun action movie. This is horrible. But man, those scenes got me amped up where he's like, where's my fucking money? Where's my fucking money? He's British too, right? Like, it just, it got me amped up, you know what I mean? Just the other guy, the other character, Archer, he represents the mental abuse side. And that's the other thing, one of the things that it shows in this movie. It's like a lot of the guys in this movie, they're like talk like they're stupid, like are like clearly mentally diminished. If you're into these boys' homes, who's that? Oh, Aiden's parking his car. Aiden's parking his car. Oh, I'm gonna wrap up this. This podcast, dude. Sorry, one of my coworkers is driving up. What's up, dog? Yeah, I gotta let this. Long story short. Yo, what's up, dude?
What's up, buddy?
You wanna hit this?
Good morning.
Good morning. What's up, brother?
Oh, that's fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. No, I'm gonna come in right in. We're about to do some inventory. All right, long story short, at the end of this movie, there's a horrible rape scene. Keep that in mind. This has been Jakey's Pod, signing off.